13 countries, 130 cities now. I started it as a night manager at McDonald's back in 1979 on Fordham and Webster. We started to patrol the subways and the streets and the parks. We do it now all over the world. Unfortunately now, a number one issue we deal with all the time, and includes myself, I'm in the subways every day, the emotionally disturbed person. I've had my jaw in the last 5 years fractured twice by emotionally disturbed persons that I was trying to come to the aid of, but were having their psychotic disorders. I don't fault them. They saw me as a threat, like a gargoyle, like a dragon. We don't understand what they see, because they don't think or see what we see. They feel like they're caged, they're threatened, they need their medication, they need help. I've been to Creedmoor, there's plenty of space. Been to Kings County, plenty of space. Kirby Psychiatric is here when you go towards the Triborough Bridge, right there on Randall's Island, that huge facility, it's virtually empty. State facilities, municipal facilities, and now the private hospitals and nonprofits don't want to start taking psychiatric patients again as they did before the lockdown, because they're only getting $2,000 a day from either Medicaid or the private insurer. Whereas obviously if people have other disorders, like cardio being the primary one, they can get anywhere from $26,000 to $82,000 for 1 day of a stay in that same bed. They have to be forced to take these patients. And many of them became psychotic because they needed drug rehab. They were kicked out of drug rehab because they needed the beds. I think we can all agree when our fellow brothers and sisters were dying in the ICUs, there weren't enough ventilators. We need every bed we could get. But now we're back on track. We're having concerts. We're having celebrations at taxpayers' expense while these poor souls sleep in the streets, sleep in the subways, attack people, attack one another. And we allow this to take place. We call ourselves a civilized society. When the New York Post says, this is like Kabul in Afghanistan, come on. It's exactly the same thing. Except it's not a foreign enemy. We ourselves are our own worst enemy to allow these conditions to continue. In the economic engine of the world, New York City, the capitalist epicenter of the world, where we have $100 billion budget now, loaded as it is by Bill de Blasio, and we can't find the money to house, care, and keep secure men and women who eventually might be able to get back on track. But without the care, without the medicine, they'll only plunge deep into the belly of their own beast. For them, it's like Dante's Inferno. We cannot ignore their plight any longer, because if we ignore them, they're coming for all of us. A bank like Chase, with billions, and other banks, can immediately, because of this event, have a private security officer assigned to every vestibule of every ATM, from Topville in Staten Island to Douglaston in Queens, to every congested area of the city, because the emotionally disturbed and homeless seek to stay in these vestibules mostly as a sanctuary, mostly to sleep. But a lot of them act out. A lot of them threaten the patrons. So it would seem to behoove Chase and other major banking institutions, spend a little of that money you make, and instead of going out to the Hamptons on the weekend, you'll have a few less cocktails to take care of the patrons who bankroll their money in your facilities so they can withdraw it from an ATM at their pleasure and leisure. 24-hour security in every ATM vestibule. And think of it, it's bad enough in this case a man is attacked. How many times have women gone into these vestibules and men, psychologically deranged, want to prove to these women in those vestibules that they don't have erectile dysfunction? I won't explain it any further. Pervs, gropers, sexual deviants. And then you wonder why women won't go into these vestibules. The corporate sector, Wall Street, the big banks, they got to realize they have to do their share. They can put a private security officer at minimum wage in each and every vestibule, 24/7, 365. That could be their contribution to dealing with this ever-growing problem. Any other question? Yeah.
As men, we look into the protection, especially these is the transportation what we're talking about. What we're getting about real good protection like this is identified. There's real protection.
Well, number one, I think I understand the question. It's a little difficult to hear.
The question is, as we did, we look into the Protection for People Special Needs Act of 2012, which protects patients in a hospital, rental patients.
Sure.
But if I'm going to get out here in the street and get their protection,
Well, that's all along the line with the HIPAA laws. Protect, not just for those who have physical ailments,
Right.
but also for mental ailments. I equate the two as being equal. So, for instance,
okay,
let's say a woman passed out across the street and began to vomit, projectile vomit. We immediately would summon through 911, EMTs, and even sometimes the fire truck comes. And they would take her right away to the ER. That's a good thing to do. In fact, in the subways now, you see the advertisements that say we will discharge the train if someone is physically ill. And that's the right thing to do. Because who knows what kind of physical trauma that person is going through. But I've been on trains where I've come across men banging their heads on the partitions. Obviously, clearly out of control in their mental faculty. That is mental sickness. I've actually taken them off the train. Not discharging the train. I was able to take them off the train, wait on the platform, call 911. The same EMTs came and said, what he wants to do, we're going to give him a psych evaluation and they'll release him within 8 hours before I finish the paperwork. See, you got to do something. They say, we're not permitted to do anything by this administration. Says Bill de Blasio. They have a civil right to be in the streets, the subways, and the parks. Cuomo made the same statements over and over when he was governor. They have a civil right to wallow in their defecation, wallow in their urine, babble, have psychotic disorders, attack people randomly, and again, patients get brought in for a psychiatric evaluation only to be discharged sometimes in less than 24 hours. How can we do that? When if we had 2 psychiatrists, independent and autonomous, give them an evaluation, we can hold them for 60 days with involuntary confinement, reassess, and after 60 days, if their problems continue to plague them, then remand them to either a state, municipal, or private facility. And if necessary, pay the freight to the private nonprofit hospitals so it's cost effective for them to reopen the units that they closed during the lockdown a March ago when they had to do it, we all understand, to free up beds for COVID-19 patients that were flooding the system. Hopefully I answered that.
well, you did pretty good, but that law, it helps protect them.
Yes, absolutely.
Out here, because who can identify anything? No one really see one.
Unfortunately, we've had so many.
Exactly.
We can, but the average citizen really can't.
NYPD has a special protocol.
Yeah.
EDP.
Well, they had an homeless outreach unit that was disbanded when they defunded the police by $1 billion. We all talk about the street crime unit, the other telecom. But what is never spoken about is how they disbanded the elite homeless outreach unit. I met those men and women, highly trained, who knew how to deal psychologically with those who had emotional issues. An average cop is not trained to do that in the academy. You don't want a precinct cop to have to deal with it only if they're the last choice. Now remember, what did de Blasio say? We're going to have 5 intervention workers who are going to do this. Guatemala, still waiting. There's no way. $1.25 billion spent, nothing to show.
The NYPD is training what they call PMCS.
Yes.
That's an acronym for Preventive Management Crisis Situation.
Right.
They're the one thing when I recall if there's a citation. They know how to deal with citation.
Exactly.
As regular citizens, we're not going to have that training. But they have to
We
experience.
know, because we deal with it, but an average citizen, absolutely.
Exactly. We have, as mayor,
Yeah.
look into these details.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
First day, I don't.
Yes.
I'm the first time for Salucci.
Thank you.
Do, we'll go to my brother. You know, our town hall. Right? right? So, been back for a long time.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to do facts. The new ass will back track that mental ill is homeless people. But one thing the young is not talking about what's written in society. That is drug cocaine too. That's a fact. It's been out there since our military's been out there in war, burning the potpourri inside the garbage cans, the insects, and they come back messed up like they breathe that in. It's chemical warfare. They don't know. But the government knew that potpourri was K2, which is chemical warfare. That is in our society. Until in our society.
No, you judge that. K2, obviously, plentiful of cheap. You go to Madison, New Jersey, up the hill, down the hill, first floor, fourth floor. They actually put leaves on the table, spray them with chemicals. It's not marijuana, it's not synthetic marijuana. It will cause neurological damage, $1 a joint. But remember we had the crisis in the 80s of the crack babies. We said there is a pending problem when these men and women reach the age of 30 or 40 who have neurological disorders because either the mothers were using crack or there was crack being smoked in the household, or they were in a household where crack was being sold and used regularly. And now I think we're seeing the results of that. Notice a lot of the men, some of the women who are having these disorders, you ask them each week, what's your age? 28, 30, 42. You say, wow, you go up in a crack household and we have a kind of credibility to ask that question and get a straight answer. You'd be surprised at the number of you or soon, probably at a very early age, lost control of a lot of the neurological functions and now unfortunately out there.
I mean, I can't blame it on that like this ongoing thing because everybody that's messing with this stuff has to get around the
Oh yeah, like another. It closed the drug rehab also.
Yeah, but it's
locked down here.
It's not that. You got a lot of people, especially with rollers, they started using K2 because it wasn't coming up with the real. It's a cheap high, but at the same time, it attacks.
It was legal.
It attacks your brain waves and your nervous system.
Absolutely.
On 125th Street in Lexington, it's like zombie land out there.
Yeah. And a
If you
lot
go
of
on
those men
34th Street, Penn Station, zombie land out there.
come from the shelters.
But nobody talks about the K2. That's
Right,
what's
so they
really
get dropped off there because they're not in programs on Manda's Island, only to get their K2 usage, go back, shelter in for the night, only to come out. So it's competitive.
This is what's killing the city, though.
Absolutely. I'll deal with it. I promise you that.
Many other things. I just want to simply say thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've been doing over the years. I mean it. And I don't have a question. Sadness.
Yeah.
Where how long we go.
Just a second.
Well,
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.